It is a genuine honor and a privilege to be hosting the DevOps Enterprise Summit for the third year with Steve Brodie. So thank you so much for being here. We have 1,300 people here who are all kindred spirits and fellow travelers on this journey implementing DevOps in large, complex organizations. So let me just briefly characterize why I think we're here. And I think it's because of three things. One is we believe that DevOps is important. It creates genuine business value, and it helps make technology work more humane. And over the years, I've had the privilege of working with Jez Humble, Dr. Nicole Forsgren, and Puppet, where we've benchmarked 26,000 respondents, really trying to understand and quantify what that business value is. And just briefly, in short, the business value that DevOps creates is far larger than we even thought. So over 4 years, we now know that those high performers are massively outperforming their peers. They're doing 200 times more frequent deployments, and they can complete those deployments 2,500 times more quickly. So in other words, how quickly can we go from a change introduced into version control, do some sort of testing process, through some sort of deployment process and running in production? High performers can do this in minutes or worst case hours, whereas lower performers might require weeks, months, or quarters. And moreover, not only they're doing more work, but they're getting far better outcomes. They have 3 times lower change failure rates, and they can fix issues 24 times faster. One of the amazing things that we found this year in this year's State of DevOps report is not only are they more agile, not only are they more reliable, but there's other dimensions of quality showing up as well. Because they're integrating information security objectives into everyone's daily work, they spend 50% less time remediating security issues, and we found that the high performers, those employees are 2.2 times more likely to recommend their places to work to friends and colleagues. In other words, the Net Promoter Score is 2.2 times higher. And of course, it's not just about technology performance, it's not just about happy security people and employees. We found that last year that high performers are twice as likely to exceed profitability, market share, and productivity goals. And for those nearly 1,000 organizations that gave us a stock ticker symbol, they had 50% higher market cap growth over 3 years. So now we have hopefully even more overwhelming evidence that DevOps is important and creates business value. One of my favorite lines in the Phoenix project is this phrase from Eric, the Yoda-like character in the Phoenix project. And he says, he wants to improve the lives of 1 million IT workers in the next 5 years. And I love that phrase because I think what it verbalizes is that DevOps is not just for the unicorns of Google, Amazon, Facebook, but it is for large, complex organizations. In other words, the horses, right? Why? Because that's where the majority of technology workers are. IDC says there's about 8 million developers on the planet, about 8 million ops people on the planet, and the majority of those are not at the unicorns. They are in large, complex organizations like represented here. So over the next 3 days, we have an amazing program for you. And one of the things that you'll notice is that they're primarily experience reports. They're all structured in a very specific way. And the reason for that is, as adult learners, as leaders, we tend not to learn from people saying, here's what I think you should do, or here's what I'm thinking about doing. Instead, what we learn from is when people describe what were they trying to do, what did they actually do, what happened, and what they learned. So every one of the majority of the talks that you're going to hear over the next 3 days follow this experience report format. They're 30 minutes, and I've asked each one of the speakers to follow a very specific pattern. In other words, here's our organization and the industry we compete in. Here's my role and where I fit in the org chart. Here's the business problem that we set out to solve. Here's where we started and why. Here's what we did. Here's the tools and techniques we used, and here's the outcomes that resulted, and here's the challenges that still remain. And I also, over the last 3 years, we've also asked every speaker to end with a slide that has one of 2 titles. One is, here's what we don't know how to do, or here's what we're looking for help with. In other words, by doing this, we get to start getting a glimpse into the top obstacles that are impeding DevOps transformations in this community. And so that actually helps us form a research roadmap. In other words, here are the problems that we need to figure out as a community of how to do. And so in 2015, that informed the programming for this conference. The top 5 issues were, how do we do automated testing for legacy applications where we have none, right? We have 100% reliance on manual testing. How do you address culture and leadership issues in transformation? How about organizational design, roles and responsibilities, information security and compliance, and metrics? We did this again last year, and here's the following 4 areas that emerged, and again is the focus of this conference, is how do we lead change in large complex organizations? And that includes everything from how do I begin to how do I finish? How do I do this when I'm already very, very busy? All those, how do we get senior leadership on board, especially stodgy conservative leadership? Secondly, what are the modern architectural and technical practices that every technology leader needs to know? Now, what are those things? 3 is how do we design our organization to best enable DevOps outcomes, whether it's operations, dev, test, information security. And then 4th, of course, information security and compliance came up again. In other words, everybody wants to go faster except for those people in security, compliance, and legal. How do we get them on board? So, what's been so rewarding for me is that there's no doubt in my mind that the people collected in this room are some of the best thinkers and doers in the game. And so for 2 years, we've actually assembled volunteers to fly to Portland, Oregon for 2 days and work on these problems. And what I love about this is that we're creating this mutually exothermic community that is really helping each other. And the goal was to organize into these teams, into these 4 teams, to generate guidance so that the rest of us can have an easier time the next time. And so we're publishing out guidance, written guidance that's generated by these teams, and you'll hear more about that later today. In fact, you'll hear about that at 11:45. There's one more thing that we wanted to do differently at this year's conference, which is how do we enable attendees and learners to have better outcomes. There's so much about conferences that come from serendipitous interactions. People on similar journeys, maybe with a different background, who are then start working together to help each other solve their problems. And I think this is especially important for adult learners and leaders, right? We don't learn from so much lectures or even experience reports. Often it comes from collaborative or experiential learning. And so we're doing a set of 4 DevOps workshops that happen. 2 are happening today, 2 are happening tomorrow. And they're really organized around small group sessions. And I've had the privilege of being in many small group sessions, and it is amazing. I remember being part of some at MIT and University of Michigan. And I would say half the time it was great, and then the other half, there was just some person in the table who was just sucking up all the air in the room, right? That actually made it horrible. And so to neutralize that risk, we've decided to use the Lean Coffee format to make sure that we can have the best outcomes for every one of the small groups. And so Dominica volunteered to help create a small army of Lean Coffee facilitators. So Dominica, can you come out and share with us what you've done?
Hi, everyone. Here's how these are going to work. At the appointed time here, we're going to be offering about an hour-long workshop, and here's how it's going to work. The first 10 minutes are going to be kicked off by presenters of the 4 forum topics, giving just a 10-minute overview of what that topic is. And then it's going to be followed by 50 minutes of Lean Coffee. What is Lean Coffee? So these are going to be roundtable discussions. Lean Coffee is an open dialogue, and the people at the table choose the topic in a democratic fashion, and then you vote on it, and those topics are time-boxed for 5 minutes each. And we've always been amazed at the outcome of these Lean Coffees. It's a place to hear what's going on. It's a place to have what's very important to you be talked about. Each table's going to have a facilitator, and look who we have lined up. So, we got Nicole Forsgren, we've got Mark Schwartz, we've got Gary Groover, we've got John Willis lined up who will be facilitating these Lean Coffees. All you have to do is to show up. Next slide, please. These are going to be held in Imperial A, which is on this floor. So here's the 4 topics, and here's the 4 times. So if you're interested in talking about organizational design, show up in Imperial A today at 1:15. Have a seat at the table, and don't be worried if you don't think you have anything to contribute. Listen in and speak as you want. I'm super excited about this. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to meet people and talk about what's important to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominica.
Yeah. Thanks, Dominica.
So these are the 4 topics: organizational design, information security and compliance, and then tomorrow we'll have leading change, and technical practices. Over to you, Steve.
All right. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Steve Brodie. I'm the CEO of Electric Cloud. We're very proud to be a co-founder of this conference and to help cultivate and foster the DevOps enterprise community. It's amazing to see how it's grown from 600 people in the room the first year we did it to close to 1,300 this year. This event would not be possible without sponsors, so we really want to thank particularly our platinum sponsors in alphabetical order: Atomic, GitHub, HP Enterprise, IBM, and Microsoft. I would encourage you to go visit them in the expo hall, and also there's sessions. There's sessions for Electric Cloud, and there's sponsored sessions for some of these folks. If you want to learn a little bit more about the solutions and hear some customers talking about how they use those. We also have 22 gold sponsors this year. This is the who's who of the DevOps vendor landscape, so a lot of great solutions out there. We have another 20 silver sponsors, so close to 50 sponsors that we have in the room. So a big round of applause for the sponsors that made this possible. Also, we have some media here with us today. We have DevOps.com. We've got DZone as well as Tech Target with us. Also, we want to thank the people behind the scenes that help produce the event and put this thing on. It would not be possible without them. And of course, I want to thank my partner, co-founder here, Gene Kim, and the entire IT Revolution team for putting this event on. So a round of applause for the folks that are producing this event here with us today. And, of course, the programming committee led by Gene, but we have Dominica, Cornelia Davis, Damon Edwards, and John Willis here on the programming committee. We got a large number of abstract submissions. It takes a significant amount of time to filter through that and select the program, and I think every year we get a lot of great feedback on the program, so really thankful to the folks here on this. So one more round of applause for the programming committee. And just moving into logistics, so I've encouraged you to go visit the sponsors. So when are the expo hall open? 11:30 to 4 today, 10 to 4 tomorrow, and then we'll have a happy hour in the evening, 5:30 to 7:30, and Wednesday, 10:30 to 3:30. We are having a ballot game to provide a little bit more incentive to go visit some of the booths. So if you go to the Electric Cloud booth, the IT Revolution, and some of the Platinum Gold sponsors, you can get your ballot filled out. Make sure there are no hanging chads on your ballots. You need to get that submitted. The drawing is going to be held on Wednesday. Okay, for those of you who have been coming to this event for a while, our first time, we are introducing alumni pins for the first time this year. So if you want to commemorate your attendance and how long you've been here, if you do visit the IT Revolution booth, you can get your attendee pins, and like to see some of the folks that have been here for many years have sort of that row of pins there. Another prize that you can win here, Axelos, if you visit their booth, stand 211. They're doing an official DevOps awareness training that's going to be launching in 2017. It's based off the DevOps handbook. One of the prizes that you're seeing a lot of this year is the Amazon Echo, and you can win one here as well. For those of you who snuck into the event today, registration is open 7 to 5 today, 7:30 to 5 the next 2 days if you have any colleagues showing up. We do have event Wi-Fi, DevOps Enterprise, lowercase, password does 2016 lowercase. We do ask that you be courteous to your fellow attendees, limit your access to 2 devices, and please try to avoid streaming, particularly the event for those that are here. Download the app. So once you're on Wi-Fi, you can download the app. You can find it on the App Store, DevOps Enterprise Summit. You can find it on the Apple and the Google App Store. And this is very important. This is where you can find the session evaluation. So on the app, you can go in, locate the session, click Session Evaluation. This is very important for us. Again, it gives us feedback, allows us to improve the program as we go forward. Got some great, we like to learn here, but we also like to have fun. We've got a great conference party planned for tonight. It's at the City View Metreon. It's about a half a mile away. It's about a 10-minute walk. It's 6 to 8. We want to thank our sponsor, UpGuard, for that. Please remember to bring your badge. Your badge is the ticket for the event tonight. We hope to see all of you there. Tomorrow, we talked about it, we're going to have a happy hour in the exhibit hall in honor of the election. It's going to be a leading change election night happy hour. Cloud Munch is sponsoring that, so great opportunity to mingle with your peers and go into the exhibit hall. One important thing is our code of conduct. We do have a code of conduct here at the DevOps Enterprise Summit. Thank you. One person.
Come on.
Yeah. We want everyone here to have a great conference experience, so we want to have a conference-free event here. We encourage everyone to...
Yeah, it was conflict-free.
Conflict-free. Did I say conference-free? Conflict-free. A harassment-free conference is what I intended to say. So we ask all participants to conduct themselves at all times with decorum and good taste. This is all about sharing, this whole event, so we encourage you to listen. There's a lot you can learn from your peers. We encourage everyone to share because there's a lot your peers can learn from you. We talked about being respectful. One thing I want to point out is there is a big election tomorrow. I know some people are very passionate about their candidates. So after the election tomorrow, some people may be elated and some people may be disappointed. We ask that you continue to be respectful, use good judgment as you either celebrate victory or lament defeat tomorrow. So if there are any issues here, we do encourage you to speak up. Here's the email address, help@itrevolution.net. And we do have this planned for next year. So we are doing our second London event, June 5th and 6th. And in November next year, 13th to 15th, we'll be back here for the 4th annual DOES San Francisco conference.
Awesome.